Hey, what's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbott, with my two co-hosts, Rashad Pinnell to my left, Kyler Lewis to my right. Coming to you on Dobie ODU Studios, the best in college radio. Um, how are y'all doing this morning? Everybody doing good?
Horrible,
You said horrible.
horrible,
Oh, why horrible?
because of this headache.
Bro, you legit sound miserable. the way you,
Uh,
the way you just started out is horrible, just horrible. How
I
about you, Rashad? How you
need a
feeling?
call.
Man, dude's a little tired, the 6 to 10, getting to me a little bit now. But I'm here and I'm ready to get into this sports talk.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, we got a good good amount of things for y'all to tune in for us to talk about today. Starting off, man, Golden State Warriors. This just seems like they're here, and everybody else is just down here. It just doesn't even make sense at this point. It's just, we'll get into them. We'll get into them. They're the A block. We'll get into those guys. Then you got Cam Newton himself. We didn't we talked about a little bit about it last show, but we never fully got to fully broach the topic because we had to go because we ran out of time. So we'll be revisiting that topic. And then we'll also be talking about, the man who played last night against Oklahoma City Thunder, Kristaps Porzingis. And, I think he was compared to a mystical creature of some kind. So, we'll address that a little bit. And then we'll also get into Ben Simmons, the guy that everybody's talking about. He's the, without a doubt, number one pick in the draft. But we're going to ask the question, is he really the best player in college basketball? Raising some eyebrows, asking some, scratching some heads. We'll get into that also. But starting off with, the Golden State Warriors. At this point, you just don't even know what to say because they honestly do just seem like they're better than everybody else. They gave a 30-point thrashing to the Spurs the other night, and this is the team that everybody was talking about. This is the best game of the regular season, the game that everybody had to look forward to coming in. Coming into this weekend, and then the Golden State Warriors just end up just destroying the Spurs. You thought. I mean, granted, the Spurs did rest Tim Duncan, but this was one of those games that you sat there and you thought, man, you don't know how much help Tim Duncan would have been. It was honestly that dominant of a performance that they put on that you sat there and you were wondering who can what team what person is gonna come and like just put an end to all this nonsense. Like I see people on Twitter tweeting about how people are letting a guy that sings about Frozen and stuff all the
Wait.
time do this to them. Like he this man will be at home mouthing Frozen songs with his wife and children, and then he comes on the court and he's the babyface assassin, and nobody can stop him. And I was watching Mike and Mike this morning, and they were reporting and they were talking about how Steph Curry is 77 threes away from breaking his own 3-point record for the amount of threes made in a season. And you look at that and you're like, man, we're not even in February yet, and he's only 77 threes away. He started off the season 51st in 3-pointers made. This man is now at 26th, 26th, and you just look at all those things. And the next person behind him in the 3-point category this season is 77 threes behind him, and that's his running mate Klay Thompson. And you're sitting there, you're like, whoa, how did Golden State could not have seen this in the future? This when they were molding this, like Jerry West was. I mean, he's part of the management for the Warriors, and you just wonder, like, did he see this shooting backcourt coming to fruition when he drafted both these guys? Because I mean, the shooting ability of this team, what they do on offense, they're number one in almost every offensive category. And defensive efficiency, the number 3. In offensive efficiency, the number 1. The Spurs are number 1 in defensive efficiency, and yet this was the worst. The Warriors broke 100 on the Spurs, which is like the first time a team has done it to the Spurs this season, essentially. And you look at the fact that the Spurs in all their losses this season, their losses combined were equivalent to 33 points, and that's how much the Warriors beat them by. So you look at that level of dominance, and you're just like, man, what team will be the team to slow down Golden State and to inevitably, just not even this, because they've lost this season. It's not even the fact about them losing. It's just what team can you see being the team that if they played them in the playoffs would actually beat them in the East or in the West. Guys, give me your take on it. How do you guys think at fully healthy? Because essentially for most of their losses, Golden State wasn't fully healthy. So as a fully healthy Golden State team, do you guys think anybody can beat them? Rashad, let me hear your take first. What do you think?
Now, before you get my take, when you say this beatable team, do you mean 7-game series beat, or when this team is healthy, who can stop them and win a game? Which one? Because like you said,
elaborate on both. Just elaborate on both.
All right, so of course, any team is beatable even when healthy. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'll go with there. Now, as far as a 7-game series, when this team's fully healthy, that's a different story here. You're talking about stopping this man Steph, stopping this man Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, who's playing exceptionally well right now. All the whole cast, playing them fully healthy and trying to win 7-game series is not going to happen. The best team to give them probably the matchup who can match their speed and tempo will be Oklahoma City. But then again, that team has to be healthy as well. And as we see, Westbrook and Durant hasn't really fully been healthy for a while, for at least the whole 82 game season. So we got to make sure coming late down the stretch, that team's in a good position where they won't get stuck with a bad matchup before they play Golden State, because you can easily run against like a team like the Spurs, where that team's more slow pace, where it can just pick that Oklahoma City team apart. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got to make sure you have the matchup to eventually make it to the Warriors with your health still there, with your legs under you, to actually give that team a run, not even beat them, to give them a run. It should right now be a unanimous decision who's the NBA champion this year.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, people won't say it.
Yeah, I don't want to. Like, it's kind of how, like, when LeBron first came in the league, everybody was like, "Yo, we're not giving this man his credit. We're never gonna give this man his credit." That's kind of how this is. They're like, "No, we're not gonna give this team his credit. There's just a shooting team that's getting lucky, hitting all the shots. If you can't get lucky 60-some games in a row now."
Can I say something that you said? There's 3 players on this team shooting over 40% from 3.
That's crazy.
Klay Thompson shooting 42%. Draymond Green is shooting 40.3%. Stephen Curry shooting 45%.
That's not lucky.
That's not lucky. You
gotta stop saying, well, this team's gonna lose when they stop hitting their threes.
Exactly.
Well, when are they gonna stop hitting?
Yeah.
When are they gonna stop
They
hitting?
mean at least half of their free throws. Well, less than half of their free throws. Free throws, 3-pointers.
That's what I'm saying. So what you got, Khalid?
Yeah, go on. Go give your perspective, Khalid.
Bruh, this team, I don't know. This team looking too good. They looking way too good. I had faith in the Spurs. I thought they was gonna be the team, like, really, like, take them down. But 33 points. Whew.
Yeah,
like, that's bad. I didn't expect the Spurs to get blown out like that.
Yeah, man.
And I'm really questioning the thing myself. Can they be beaten? I mean, full strength, 7-game series. I don't think they can either.
See, here's the thing for me with Golden State, because I'm looking at Steph Curry's numbers by himself. The dude's averaging 30, shooting 51%. Now, mind you, this is a perimeter player. He's a 6'3" point guard, shooting 51%. He's shooting 91% from the free throw line. So you foul him, you're just giving up points. There's no point. You're just giving up points regardless. Yeah, you know what I mean? You just add in team fouls. No point in fouling the kid. Like, he's unguardable. And then you go to Klay. Klay's averaging 20 points on 45% shooting, 42% shooting from 3-point line. He's shooting 82% from the free throw line. You just sit there, and then you just don't know what to do anymore. Draymond Green averages 14 and 6 assists. He's shooting 40% from the three. You just don't know what to do. Like, I look at every offensive category. Number 1 in points, number 1 in field, or number 2 in field goal percentage to the San Antonio Spurs. They're number 1 in offensive efficiency. Then defensive efficiency, you're 3rd. And then you look at the Spurs. The Spurs are relatively right there with them in every stat. But then you see them play each other, and it was like the Spurs didn't even. The defensive player of the year, Kawhi Leonard, looked like a chump against Steph Curry. Like, Steph Curry shook him without the ball. How he shook him without the ball? I don't get it. Like, I saw Kawhi Leonard fall without the basketball. I was confused. I was like, whoa, that is real. When you that's when you know you're not, like,
he had that man shook, dog.
You know what I mean? Like, anybody wants to go see it, just go look up the Steph Curry, because Steph Curry and Kyrie both shook their own respective. Like, Kyrie shook Tayshaun Prince the same night.
Kyrie's prettier though.
You said Kyrie's?
I continue. I think it was pretty. Continue on.
Oh, that sounds kind of bad.
Yeah, because Kyrie did do it with the ball, but Steph shook. But it's the defensive player of the year. You know what I mean? It's Kawhi Leonard, and he shook him without the basketball. Then gets the basketball, makes Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? Makes him jump. Then takes a step back and shoots a three. Like this is ridiculous.
They having too much fun against the people they play.
But here's the thing: does it get to a point where a team is so good that you just get bored with the season? Like no,
It's about the team or us.
no, like us. Like you know what I'm saying? No, because I'm not talking about watching them, but isn't it get to a point where they're so good
that you know that anybody that plays them gonna lose.
You know what I'm saying? Like you start watching, you're just like, so who's gonna what I mean? Like they're so good
because now you're like,
it's like who's gonna beat them?
You're like, yeah, I want to see who's gonna beat them.
But see, here's the thing. But then when we see the matches and we see the everybody was so hyped for the San Antonio Spurs game, it would have been different. The Spurs lost by like 5. They got destroyed. Like I know Tim Duncan didn't play, but 33 points. I don't think Tim Duncan changes 33 points. I mean, maybe the way your team plays defense, the way he guards the rim changes things. You know, Tim Duncan, I mean, he's a key asset to the Spurs. But yeah, they weren't missing threes as it was. You know, Steph Curry finished the game with 37 points. He didn't even play in the fourth quarter. That just goes to say crazy. How, you know, I mean,
against the Spurs, he didn't play.
He didn't play in the fourth quarter. So that just goes to show how I just can't be stopped. But here's the thing for me, because we wait for that's what I'm talking about with the season getting boring, because we got up for everybody was making this game so great, just like they were making the Cavs game against them like such a big deal. Talking about, oh well, you know, they want revenge for the loss the Warriors handed to them earlier in the season. But then you look at it and you're like, man, the Warriors really gave these guys a thrashing. But all these teams. So then you sit there and you're like, okay, our last hope is Oklahoma City. That's like our last, like just like Rashad said, like no, really, like you think about it, our last hope is Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City, and I've heard Stephen A. Smith reiterate numerous times how he can't wait. And the game against Oklahoma City will be on February 13th, I believe, the day before Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think it's the day before Valentine's Day, or no, the week actually before Valentine's Day. It'll be the week before Valentine's Day, but They play them that weekend, because the Valentine's Day weekend is All-Star weekend actually. So they play them that day. They play them the week before Valentine's Day, and everybody's like, I've seen Stephen A. Smith say numerous times that of all the players in the league that have that competitive drive, he can't see Russell Westbrook sitting idly by and letting Steph Curry jigaboo all over the Oklahoma City Thunder the way he's done on every other team. And Russell Westbrook, he says Russell Westbrook has that competitive fervor that he will not allow Steph Curry to be the boy that's just sitting out in the fourth quarter. He said he won't let it happen. And to Rashad's point, it makes sense, because Oklahoma City kind of is similar to Golden State with how they play on the perimeter, whereas you have a San Antonio and Cleveland to a lesser degree that, you know, plays on the post up kind of thing. Like they post up, like San Antonio posted up LaMarcus Aldridge, they post up Tim Duncan. And then your perimeter players are Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker and Danny Green, respectively, if he starts. And then whereas Oklahoma City, your perimeter players would consist of Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Anthony Moore, or Andre Roberson, whoever starts, or Oscar Roberson. And then you have Serge Ibaka, and then Steven Adams or Enes Kanter, whichever one starts. Last night, Steven Adams started, but whichever one starts, respectively, out of those two. And you have those guys. Out on the perimeter. And Oklahoma City is that one team that can go small to match up with Golden State, because they have that lineup where they put Serge Ibaka at the 5, and Serge Ibaka has the ability to hit outside shots. So it also forces the Golden State Warrior bigs have to move out on the perimeter. So that opens up the lane for Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. And go ahead.
Yeah, see, I'm not even cut you off there, but when you say that too, when you think about who the big is, though, when they go small, it's Draymond Green.
It is.
And he already spreads out the floor anyway. So I mean, I don't know how much of that affect.
But here's the thing: he does spread out the floor anyways. But the only thing for me is with Draymond Green being the big. Most times when Draymond Green's the big, the only reason why it works for them is because no other team has a big that they can go small with that can also still defend. Like when Cleveland would go small with Kevin Love can't protect the basket whatsoever. Yeah. And Kevin Love has no lateral quickness on defense. So that's what kills him. When you go look at the Spurs don't really have a small lineup that I can think of. I mean, unless you put LaMarcus Aldridge at the 5 or something like that, but then he's not a rim protector all too well himself. So, you know, when excuse me, my throat. But what's it called? What was I saying? with the Oklahoma City Thunder, you put Serge Ibaka at the 5, you put Kevin Durant at the 4, you put Anthony Morrow or whoever you want at, you put Dion Waiters at the 2, maybe you put Anthony Morrow at the 3. You have all shooters just around Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. So that forces Golden State to have to guard the 3-point line, and all those guys that I just listed all can make plays. Anthony Morrow is a respective 3-point shooter, but I mean he could put the ball on the floor and make make the defense collapse. But I mean, there's not a coincidence that the Golden State is number 3 in defensive efficiency. But just that's just like the reason why I can understand what Oklahoma City, because I mean that's how it normally has been throughout the past few years. It all depends on your matchup. It's like when the Spurs normally would go up against Oklahoma City, it wasn't a good matchup because of the athleticism of Oklahoma City. And then in the last time they faced off against each other, Serge Ibaka was hurt for the first 2 games where the Spurs went up 2-0. Serge Ibaka comes back. Oklahoma City wins 2 games, and the Spurs win 2 more games and finish the series. But then but granted, the last time the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Spurs was when James Harden was there, but that was with a less experienced Russell Westbrook and a less experienced Kevin Durant also, even though Kevin Durant was still a bad boy. So was Russell Westbrook. But you look at those things and you're like, man, it does also come down to matchups. But I mean, most people always just kind of give the Spurs that credit because they always feel like Greg Popovich will come up with a way to, fix to be able to defend these guys, be able to defend these favorite players. And we all thought the solution was Kawhi Leonard until this man got shook without the. I just can't fathom he got shook without the basketball. That's exactly what it is. They play a way faster tempo than everybody else. The only finish. The only team that plays at that tempo is Oklahoma City. It's the only team really. And then now Cleveland's trying to up their tempo, and Tyronn Lue's talking about how they're not conditioned enough to do so. But what were you going to say, Rashad?
So let's go back to the Spurs game. So the Spurs was down by 7 in the first quarter with 9 turnovers. If those turnovers didn't happen, how do you see that game actually? Do you still see that game shaping out 33 or all momentum, like it was gone, like from grip? Or do you see it a little closer game if those 9 turnovers wasn't there? Because I mean, those turnovers were like, here you go.
They were bad turnovers. In the same respect, Golden State started playing sloppy at one point also. So I do understand what you're saying. Like without the sloppy play of the Spurs, how would they? Because I mean, the Spurs aren't going to play that sloppy every time. But I still think they would have got whooped. Like that. Just how that game was going. If it won 33, it's going to be 20. Exactly. the way that the Golden State Warriors were playing them, it was like for those who didn't watch, I'm trying to get y'all to understand how it felt watching it. Like I was watching that game and I felt hopeless. It's not like I want Golden State to lose or nothing like that. I wanted to see a great game, but you're watching and when a team is overmatched, and the Spurs look completely overmatched. Like this man Steph Curry came off a pick and roll. Kawhi Leonard was right on his back. This man pulled up anyway. And it's pulls up and sinks it.
You want to know how you know it's a good game? It's when you're in our room and you hear Malcolm in the other room, this man ain't human. That's how you know it's a good game. That's how you know you need to turn it on and see. Every 30 seconds, this man ain't human. You know what I'm saying? This man just hitting something crazy, doing something crazy.
It's like he has all the game sliders up. Like, honestly, he has all in 2K.
Overall is 100.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
100 overall.
No, really though. Anybody who has 2K, go look at Steph Curry's offensive stats. Every offensive stat is over 90. Every single one. Like Steph Curry's is unreal.
That's how LeBron was.
It isn't
2 years ago.
Hey man, that's. His shooting stats ain't like that.
That's kind of like the Devin Hester thing on Madden when he was 100 speed for the first time.
It was wrong.
Next season after that dude was like 95. And it was like, nah.
Because he was an unfair player, bro. It was unfair with Devin Hester. Everybody just put him at wide receiver and just have him run a goal. That's all everybody used to do.
That's like LeBron. Nope. Steph Curry.
96
overall. Give me the Devin Hester stats.
Yep.